This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now I'm a little bit late today because I just rushed back to the office. I went out for a meeting and I thought I had plenty of time to make it back, so I quickly set up everything. So actually, first I should just check to make sure you guys can hear me okay. Can everybody hear me all right? So this is our weekly live. Well, if I can, I'll just keep talking until you guys let me know whether or not we can. But so this is the weekly live stream where we talk about whatever we want to talk about. We just chat. We talk about what's going on during the week. We look at each other's apps. We just, we just hang, man. We just hang. And it's probably the favorite part of my whole week doing the live stream, because a lot of times if I do the videos or if I'm meeting with a client, it's a lot of, I'll talk about high level things, right? And when we talk with the live stream, a lot of times we talk about the lower level, more nitty gritty stuff. You guys ask questions, try to answer as best I can if I know the answer, and if I don't, somebody on the live, somebody out there has the answer, and we can all help each other out, and it's really helpful. But by the way, okay, cool, you hear me? Thanks, thanks, Chip. By the way, if you guys are ever wondering why there's that little bit with the music in the beginning saying the live stream's about to start, sometimes I'm still frantically getting everything together and trying to get everything ready, and other times I do that so that we get a few people on the live stream to begin with, so I don't just start talking to nobody, which was my biggest fear when I started doing the live stream. Like nobody would show up, and sometimes I think it'd be cool just to start the live stream without any preparation. That way, and it would be and just start talking before anybody joins the live stream, and then I could say anything like, I murdered 3 people and buried them in my backyard, and then I'll just start talking about apps, and then no one will know unless they see the replay a few days later. So anyway, that would be funny. So everybody's here. Chip is the first one, by the way. Thanks, Chip. Coding with Chip is here. Apavelli, what's the name of this song you playing before the stream starts? I forget what it is. See, I used to play Freedom by God, I can't remember the name. Freedom, the one I played on so many videos. It was a part of my outro, and I got I got demonetized a few weeks ago on the live stream because I had that playing. Even though I got it from Artlist, I had the license for it, but I guess the license had expired, and then I had to renew the license, so I could still do that one again. So I switched it over, and I don't remember what the new one's called. I'll find out. Maddie2J, Maddie JY2K, hey, how's it going? Charlie's here. Hey, Charlie, are you across the hall in the other office? Jeff can hear you. I can't believe you made it this early for once. I can't believe it. Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you made it, because I had a meeting about 20 minutes away, and I thought, I got loads of time, and then I just raced down here, run in here. I'm all disheveled. But you know what? This week has been a crazy week. This week I've had so many meetings. This week I felt like a real businessman, because I was in London yesterday. I was in Buckingham and Aylesbury the day before. I was in Cheltenham the day before that. And meetings in the office on Monday. It seems like I've been late for all meetings, and I've been going from place to place to place. I'm just a mover and a shaker this week. And then today, I've been in a suit all week. So today I just wanted to I'm just gonna wear my Fruit of the Looms Hanes t-shirt and just. So but yeah, it was It seems like I've just been on the go. It's just been rushed all day. It feels like I'm apologizing for being late to everybody I meet this week. Mega Man 2016, 7th. All right, own it. Own 7th place. Charlie's Dev Life. You changed your channel. Cool. Charlie's Dev Life says, "Are you coming to Reading Dev Fest 2019 tomorrow?" No, I didn't. I didn't know what was going on. Nope, I didn't know that was going on. Ruchin says, "How many downloads do you have?" It's difficult to say because I've unpublished my biggest apps, and I'm wondering whether or not those still count, the downloads I've had. To date, we've had over 10 million downloads, and I used to go through the App Store, Google Play, Amazon, Samsung, and then the Chinese app markets, and keep a running tally. So it'll be like one of my more popular videos where I talk about having 3 million downloads. But since then, I haven't really been doing it. I haven't done it for the last couple years. But in terms of how many concurrent downloads I have, I don't know. I have to go through and check. It used to be really easy to get that information on App Annie, but I don't I have so many apps that I would have to get a calculator out and go through and tally it up, or put them in a spreadsheet and do it. So, but it's I guess in terms of current current downloads, I would imagine it'd be about 200,000 or 300,000. Over the years, it's been over 10 million downloads. So the retention on my applications is not as great as it could be. Although I do have a lot. My retention is so low that I would have people install the apps. When you go into Firebase and you look at those analytics, I realized how many people are uninstalling it after 2 or 3 days. That when I went to go and release it, I took some features away from Ear Assist when I changed it to Ear Assist. I took some features away and just re-released it. I didn't even think there would be people complaining that they were losing features because I just assumed, but there are some people who have had my apps for years and use them regularly. But mostly the retention rate it's the same as all Android apps, or at least most Android app developers I speak to, they complain about the retention rates on their applications. Liam, happy Friday. Happy Friday, Liam. It's here. It's finally here. Oh, today I'm going to make the live stream a bit. I keep it to 1 hour because I have to drive to Portsmouth after this to pick up my son from university again. So that means Taco Bell. One more time. Cody with Chip says, sometimes I can't watch YouTube, but I can listen. YouTube does not allow this in the background. Any plans on making a podcast from this? We did for a while. We were taking it and doing it. And I thought about doing a podcast. In fact, the reason I bought this stupid snowball microphone was because I wanted to do a podcast. That was originally what I wanted to do. But if you use YouTube Premium, you can run it in the background. But I don't know if that helps at all. It's like, whatever, $15 a month or $20 a month, whatever it is. It's 15. I think it's £14.99, £14.99 here. But no, nobody's ever requested that, Chip. Maybe we could do that. I'm sure it would be easy. I mean, there must be some sort of. It's probably just a bit of code to strip the MP3 out, and just release it to the different things. True Dreams is here. Hey, True Dreams, how's it going? Apavelli says, I'm going to show this one. I don't know why it's hidden. Apavelli asks, Have you noticed organic reach on Instagram is declining? You basically have to pay for ads to promote your apps on Instagram and Facebook. I've heard that from, I think I was on one of the Gary Vaynerchuk videos. He was talking about how organic reach on Instagram is declining. And I've been trying to do Instagram stories every day. And to be honest with you, it's fun. I like doing Instagram stories. If you guys want to see what I'm up to, and it's usually like, today I'm going to the gym, today I've got a meeting in London, today I do this, stories. They're like, they're ephemeral. They disappear, so you can say whatever you want to say. I can show myself naked if I wanted to, and only a few of you would be scarred for a short time. It wouldn't persist. I want to do that, but I heard that it doesn't do it, and I found that we have about 400, and we only have like 490 something Instagram followers, and we've had that same number, give or take 5, for like months. So it's not like it's really putting the extra content out there is really helping spread it. It's just sort of is what it is. So I don't know if I've quite have the Instagram thing figured out yet, but I'm still keep doing the stories on there because it's nice just to throw something out there and have so just so you guys know that I'm alive, man. Marandir, hey, how's it going? Charlie's works from home on Fridays, cool. Christopher Anugbo says, hey Eric, related to apps, but have you ever felt stuck in life? How did you get out? Dude, Christopher, I think we all feel stuck in life, right? At some point, I think, you have your ups and downs. Sometimes something just knocks you over and you just you get hit with something traumatic. It could be traumatic, like actually traumatic, or it could be something like business traumatic. Like for me, there was a point where I realized I couldn't pay everybody, and I had to let people go, and it really took a hit to my confidence. Right, and then you kind of felt like, oh, what's the point? And there have been days recently that I've you just wake up and go, oh, I'm just gonna go find a job, and then I don't have to worry about disappointing anybody or keeping everybody, making sure everybody's happy. And there are times like that, and then there's other times where you just feel like nothing's moving forward, right? And then there's other times where you just go, and sometimes those aren't just getting hit with something. Sometimes you just be like, you don't have enough to do. Like this week, I haven't been depressed at all, like not once, because I've just been too busy to be depressed. But there are other times where like just dietary, like you just feel lethargic. If, it used to be I would go running to feel better, like just to get myself out of my funk. Running usually helps. Now I go to the gym, but I think running works better just in terms of lifting up my mood. But there's, yeah, I think we all do. I mean, let me ask the rest of you guys. Do you guys ever feel like you're stuck in life? Yeah, I think we all do. We just, the only way forward is action, right? The only way forward is to do something. If you don't do anything and you just feel stuck, then you're just wallowing. And I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing, because I do it too sometimes. But yeah, definitely, dude. There's ups and downs, and then you get some. Momentum is a powerful thing. You just need to keep your momentum going, right? Sometimes taking a holiday works. Sometimes, just taking your mind off it does. But yeah, Christopher, we could talk about that more if you want. But it's definitely there are times where you feel stuck and you think things are not moving as fast as you think they should. And I think, especially in the app development community, we all feel like our app should be adopted faster than they are. Like when we put them out, we didn't think, oh, I'm going to put this app out there and hopefully in the next 5 years it'll take off. No, we think, I want it to take off tomorrow, right? I'm not, I'm getting this thing out there, publishing it because I want it to take off tomorrow. And when it doesn't, and you're still working at it, it can get a bit depressing. But don't give up, because if you give up, then you know the result. ASMR Kate says, it's my first time uploading an app to the Play Store. Wish me luck. Good luck, ASMR Kate. Uploading it's not going to be too difficult. Well, actually, lately Google's rejecting everything. Google Play is rejecting a lot for little things. Like we released a client application. Rodrigo was part of this last week, and we released it as an alpha build, right? Because we wanted to test out the in-app purchases, and the alpha build was rejected. There wasn't even any test users, but they said you have undefined ads in it, and we didn't. Basically, all we had was a review us was going to a different app temporarily because we didn't have. Anyway, they're just rejecting things for everything. So, but don't worry about that, Kate. You should be fine. And good luck. Mohammed Always, hey, how's it going? Ranking Video says, how can I check my strikes on the Play console? You should be able to see well, for me, I just look at the number of suspensions. But they don't really give it to you. I think they are intentionally vague on the Play console about how well you're doing. Because they'll say, if you ever get an app suspended, you'll get this email. Like some of you guys know what this is like. You get one that says, if your account is still in good standing, you can release this app under a different name, right? And it's that in good standing, which is very vague, right? There's I find that to be difficult, like you wish there would be some sort of score or something you could go to, and I think they want to reserve the right to remove you, if it's probably on the degree of the suspension. I imagine if you were intentionally trying to defraud people, that should be a higher suspension than if you accidentally included a copyrighted image, right? I think that would be so maybe that's the case, although we always talk about the 3 strikes in 6 months or something you're out. But True Dream says, are you going to market Ear Agent again completely from scratch? I keep coming back to that. There's been so many copycats. And again, this goes back to what Christopher said about action. It's like, I hate to say that I haven't done anything because what's the point? What's the point? Why bother? They keep removing it. But yeah, I've thought about it. I thought about just completely just redoing it, and just to, because I have the code. I just need to swap over some images, release it as a new version, but I'll be starting from scratch. So we'll have to put the advertising dollars in there. Hopefully it will do better than the copycats, because the copycats have been out there longer than this new one that I'm going to do, even though they were copying mine. And so it's something. It's not high on my priorities at the moment, True Dreams, but I have thought about it. Abhay Paptani, hey Eric, happy Diwali. Happy Diwali, that's right. So this is one of the things that's for me this week is because our developers are out until Wednesday, at least a good portion of our developers are out until Wednesday. So I'm kind of doing that stalling thing where I'm like, oh yeah, we'll get you that quote. Oh yeah, we'll do that. But I just have to come clean and say, oh yeah, we're gonna have to hold off until Wednesday on that one. But yeah, no, I hope you have a good Abhay. I hope you have a good Diwali. Is that Diwali? Phil J says, regarding being late to everything, you just need to walk in with your sunglasses on, and instead of apologizing, you say, my future's so bright, gotta wear shades, and then start the meeting. That's right. I could just walk in there and just own my lateness, like just throw my phone down and go, yeah, I should do that, right? Because, when you go in and you're apologizing, you're starting at a moment you're starting from weakness. You're passive. You're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I think I'm just too nice. I want them to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I don't take this meeting lightly, despite the fact that I couldn't, I was walking around the block 15 minutes trying to find their office building, or whatever it is, or driving around trying to find a parking spot. I don't want them to think that I'm taking the meeting lightly, so I over apologize to the point where it's probably kind of creepy, right? It's probably like I'm probably going from a point of weakness where they think this guy really, really wants to do this project, when really sometimes it's still to be decided on both sides, from them and from me. And hey Phil, how's it going? Fire Chaser USA. Oh yeah, we looked at your app a few weeks ago. Says, I lost it. Hi, hey Eric. This is from Calvin from Fire Chaser USA. Apple denied my app because they said it's in harm's way to take pictures of a burning building. I'm lost on what they are saying and think it's wrong. That's tough. Calvin, that's a really tough one, because we've had that for a client where they we released an app and they said they rejected it because they said it was mean-spirited. And it was. I'm allowed to talk about this app now because the owner said I could talk about it. It's called Zappem, Zappem. So we released it as a PWA, and that was a tough one because we kept appealing it. We kept repealing it and appealing it to Apple, and they weren't going to budge. Right? They were just like, no, It's one thing if they reject it because the functionality, or because whatever your privacy policy, or they think it's too similar to other apps, because you have a little bit of wiggle room there. But when they do it on the actual foundation of the app, and by the way, if you read those terms and conditions and the policies for Apple, it's very vague on that, right? So, but keep appealing it. I mean, I would say keep appealing it. Just keep going forward. Talk about how this app it saves. This is a cautionary app. I can't believe, and I would try to, the spin on the app should not be that it's that. They're trying to make it sound like it's encouraging people to take pictures of burning buildings, but your take should be this is helping prevent people, or people identify when buildings are burning or whatever, and try to do that. Try to appeal to the fact that it's it's a benefit to people, and it would actually be a disservice to all iPhone users to not allow them to do that. And then hopefully you could do it. I mean, I had an app rejected just this week where I appealed it, and I didn't even go through the appeal. I didn't resubmit it. I just asked a reviewer. I gave them the login and password, and they did it the wrong way. They sent me a screenshot saying still doesn't work. I said, dude, you went to the wrong one, right? And then 2 hours later they did it. So keep using that. Don't just keep submitting it. Keep replying to the submission, because they'll give you the rejection, and then there'll be that little bit that you fill in there, and try to just be very much, try to be very much like, oh, thank you so much. This. I mean, this is me being too nice again. This is me being. I should act from strength. I should walk in with sunglasses and own it. But what I do is I'll say, thank you so much for this feedback. I totally get what you're saying. However, it's not that. The intention is this, and and I think it would be a real disservice. So could you please reconsider it, or something like that? And just see how that does. I don't know if that'll work or not. Let's see. Johan for real says for 12 euros in France for YouTube Premium. By the way, I'm not promoting YouTube Premium. I mean, it's just But I have it, and it's you would think that's not a big thing to have the video still play when your phone goes to sleep. Put your phone to sleep and just listen, but it just really helps. Or even just be able to, you don't want the video to stop when you go to other apps and stuff. But let's see. Bala Murali Therapathi says, for Android business app, whether you use prefer Ionic or native. I prefer, like for a business app, I prefer Ionic. And again, you got the whole web view thing. You've got the dependencies. I mean, this week I was like really. I think I put it on my Instagram stories. By the way, follow Instagram on Overpass apps on Instagram. I think it is. So I did an Instagram story just talking about how sometimes I can't stand Ionic. I was going through dependency hell on it. Just trying to do like, okay, all you have to do is delete node modules, do your new npm install to get it for whatever node version you're using, remove and add iOS again, or the whatever Ionic Cordova platforms, remove RM iOS and then add iOS. So you're going through all that bit again, right? And it's just such a headache sometimes. However, we're talking about this app that we did that got rejected, and we had to do a PWA. That was done in React Native, and if it was done in Ionic, it would have been much easier to do the PWA. The PWA works really well, though. I mean, I met with a client earlier this week, and he was really surprised at how good the PWA was. Not in terms of a platform. I mean, not as good as we did it, although but it was more like as a platform. He was surprised because when we explained PWAs and the shortcomings and he thought it would be like, not as good as an app, but it was based on what we had to do. So I would say, Bala, if you went Ionic, then you could release on both platforms, and you could do a PWA if you want. You could upsell them on the PWA thing fairly simply. Coder Python, hey, how's it going, Coder Python? Patrick Chariot says, hello, Eric. Say my name. I want to hear my name from you, Patrick. Hey, Patrick, how are you? I thought you meant the Chariot. Maddie JY2K. I don't know why. There's too many consonants in there, Maddie. Every week I read your name and I get stumbled at the end. Just stick a vowel in there so I can pronounce it. I added my first app to the Play Store recently, but Android Vitals considers my ANRs excessive, as high as 2.53% is a bad behavior threshold. Is just 0.47%. What is your average ANR rate? I look at that a lot, and it depends on which app it is. Usually on my Corona apps, it's fine, but on my on Ear Agent, when it was there, it would border on it. Like I would keep going, and what I would do is I would look to see. Look at the crash reports and stuff. Well, the crash reports is different than the ANR, but try to see if you can find out where it's stopping. Let me see if I could do that here. I'll do it live. Do it live because this is Overpass Live. We're gonna have to come up with. You know what? We've been doing this live stream for like 2 years now, and we need a better name than Overpass Live. Anybody have any suggestions? Let's see. Oh, go to Google Play Console. I'm gonna show you my screen here in a minute. Don't worry. I realize you can't see it. Not that one. Just going to see if I can show you the app here. James says hi. Hey James, how's it going? I think the ANR rate has matched my keyword rankings. That might be because I think they are taking that into consideration. Let's see if I could go into showing unpublished. This app has been unpublished, but hopefully I can still see the stats on it. Okay, I'm going to go into this, share my screen. So we've got, this is Iris. I unpublished this a few weeks ago. So, and the reason I unpublished it was because they suspended the pro version, and I unpublished this while I try to figure out why they did the pro version. But it's, yeah, I think I've been screwed over a bit by Google on the side. Is my screen black? Oh, my screen is black. Thank you. Wrong one. Thanks, Julia. All right, so this is my thing. Thank you, Julia. All right, screen is black. You guys can see it now. Cool. So this is my one on ear assist. Like I said, I did cancel that one. Thank you to Julia for pointing out this thing, although I'm sure you guys are all screaming at me. So this is like my ANRs for this one. So ANR free sessions daily. Overview was so my ANR was 0.31, but for a while it was up there a bit. And I think if you go into the ANR, I can't remember what kind of details you get about it. You got which version it is. You don't get, oh yeah, here we go. So here it will say like where it actually occurred. So at least you got some sort of idea if you can go through and find out, what's happening on that line, what's happening there that you could go through and do it. Do you have to like put something's happening. Do you have to put a try catch? Do you have to put a timeout? Do you have to put an alert box to say something's happening? So yeah, I couldn't remember if on ANRs they work like crash reports where you had a stack trace. Let's see, but cool. What else? But yeah, Maddie, I would start there because if it's consistent, like if it's like ANRs all over the place, that's tough. But if it's like one line of code and you can reproduce it, that would be what I would do. I would go that way. Go for Golden says, which analytics tool is best for app? I've only used the free ones. I know there are paid ones out there. In the past, I've used I was gonna say Flutter. What's the one that was it was big for a while. The analytics starts with an F, I think. Flurry. Is it Flurry? I think it was Flurry. But I used Google Analytics for a while, but they actually deprecated Google Analytics for apps, and then you use Firebase, but now you use Firebase and import it into Google Analytics. So those are the only ones that and Facebook Analytics. I've used Facebook Analytics before, mainly so that we could track the Facebook ads going through. So I didn't use it like I would ever check it. But so those are the only ones I know, and of those, I think Firebase works pretty well because you see the stream view on it and everything. Let's see. Pratik Gupta, hey, how's it going? Aaron Chandran says, hi, Eric. How much knowledge? Eric, how much knowledge? What we build video editor app in Android in Java? I'm not sure what that means. How much knowledge? What do you build a video editor app? How much knowledge do you do a video editor app in Java? Probably quite a bit. When I look at video editor apps on the mobile device, you have to think about the drag, drop, trim video, modify the sound. If you look at something, one of the video editors I use is Lumia Fusion, which is most of the time when I edit the videos, I'll use Final Cut Pro. I did try to go into Premiere Pro route, but I like Final Cut Pro on the Mac. But lately I've been using my iPad sometimes and using Lumia Fusion. And there's another one I'm using for Instagram stories when I do edit them. What I'm really surprised about is how advanced they are. Because there's so many features you have to consider about in a video editor. Things that I wouldn't even think about. You got all the transitions, trimming, whatever, audio ducking. So I imagine you'd have to have quite a bit, Aaron. BizYG says, hey, Eric, does Amazon App Store apps have AdMob ads and Unity ads? I don't know about Unity ads, but they do have AdMob ads in them. And I'm not sure how it works. I just know that I've been able to use it, and when I've asked about it before, I've been able to get those on there. And I'm pretty sure I tracked through that they're getting clicks. Now, a lot of times the AdMob ads have they're linked to other apps in the Play Store, so I don't know if they check those or anything. But I know in the past I have asked that question, and they said yes. But unless they've changed something in recent years. Julio Cruz says, Happy Friday, Julio. And BizYG, smash the like button. Hey, Julia, how come you haven't said smash the like button yet? Or have you? Am I just late? Saif Mokadam says, AdMob revenue differs on iOS versus Android with the same amount of impressions and click. Yes, Yes, I find that the my RPMs on iOS are much higher than they are on Android, and I think it's because there's less inventory because there's so many more Android apps out there. But yeah, I found that. I mean, it's surprising. Fist 007, hey, how's it going? Eric, I was thinking some time ago about this mobile app thing. Yeah, what are you referring to? Wouldn't it be better from a business perspective to build web apps for a client? You'll have one platform to test and deploy to. Yeah, web apps are... We get into this a lot. So making web apps for businesses is good too, right? But you have a lot of advantages with mobile. And I know with PWAs and HTML5, you get a lot of these things now too, like camera interaction, offline storage, GPS, etc., etc., etc. You're getting all that stuff with web apps now too, and you can make them responsive. And a lot of times you can make these web apps work just as well there as you can. But a lot of businesses still do want apps, right? So we do some PWAs for clients, and occasionally we'll do websites. So we're doing a web application right now, and it's not. And when you say that you only have to deploy it once, yeah, you only have to deploy it once, but you have to test it a lot more. I mean, when you get into doing web applications, you're talking about what are the browsers they're going to be using, how many browsers do we have to support, and everything like that. So you still have ups and downs on both of them. But yeah, it depends on what they want. Some businesses want an app just because it gives them another place to be found, right? It's another hook out there. So you can find them on one of the app stores. Sometimes they just they want the added benefit of just having it, and sometimes it's complicated telling their users about progressive web apps, or you run into that thing where you just can't push it back any further. And I know we're getting to the point now where PWAs are getting to the point where they could do a lot of the things that apps can do on both platforms, and you don't have the app store to go through and all those headaches. But like a lot of the stuff we do, like we have a lot of apps that we've done for clients that are Bluetooth enabled. So it's like communicating with something via Bluetooth or over UDP Wi-Fi or over one of the some other thing. We have things that integrate with HealthKit. We have things that integrate with all that kind of stuff, and it's easier doing it in an app. But not everybody does it. We get a lot of businesses contact us. They want an app, and they should have a website. And I don't mean like a web application. I mean like a website, like something that somebody would go to once. Muhammad Awai says Facebook and AdMob sometimes terminate my ads because of wrong placement. Do you have a GitHub? Of good ad placement code? No, but AdMob has good ad placement code. If you look, they'll show you AdMob ad placement. They've got all this documentation showing you. Let's see if I can find it. Implementation guidance. They got a lot of graphics of where you should actually put them. I know you can't see my screen. I'm trying to find it. But there was one. I did a video about it where we talked about being able to go through and do that. So yeah, AdMob does have a lot of good documentation on that if you look for it. Apavelli says, how do you eliminate distractions while working? It's one of the things I like about Apavelli. One of the reasons I like to work on weekends is because there are no distractions. I mean, except the ones that actually, that are there, like Netflix. Netflix is always a distraction, and YouTube's always a distraction. You could always do that, but that's more of a you can control that distraction. Like you just say, no, I'm going to finish this, right? But then you have the other things like the phone ringing or somebody asking you a question, or lunchtime, like hunger is a distraction. Like I get to, I don't want to go eat now because I'm just getting into this, or you'll think, or like the worst thing is when you think I should start this now, but it's 11:30. I should go to lunch first and then work on it. And then you go to lunch, you feel tired, so you take a nap, and then there have been days. Yeah, there are days when I get like that. So, but yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. But I think the best thing is when you can just turn off the phone, close everything, turn off email, turn off all notifications, and just go dark, right? Go deep. Like to quote Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop 2, you got to go deep undercover, right? Let's see. Aaron says app or game. It depends on what you want to do. It depends on, yeah. They have. I think I remember once reading this that utility apps, you could charge more for utility apps because they increase the value of your phone. Not actually increase the value, but to you they increase your value. So like if I downloading an app that does like my tracking my runs means all of a sudden this is just a phone. It's not just a smartphone. This is my fitness equipment, right? If I with the ear agent, with the ear spy, it was, you know, this will help me hear better. With the measuring tool, this is like a tool for measuring. There's a lot of things there that you would pay for because that's really useful and increases the value of my phone. There's other things that are just, you know, like you have a lot of games and there's so much competition out there that, so all the games that I've done are educational games. Like it's just, I think, because I'm not a gamer, I wouldn't really be able to tell you the difference between a good game and a bad game, right? In terms of like what would be more viral or what would be more fun. But I do know that if this one helps me learn something, then I'll be willing to pay some money for it because in my mind I can make that like, okay, that's worth paying for because it will make me better. But maybe that's just me. Phil J, smash that like button. Oh, I keep forgetting we're gonna do our alpha male channel. Oh, from now on I'm gonna speak in my deep voice. Ron San says 33 people watching and only 11 likes. 33 people watching, only 11 likes. 43 now. That's okay. You guys don't have to like. You guys can dislike if you want. I don't mind. I'll be fine. We'll be fine. But yeah, smash that like button. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe and follow Instagram and you know, etc., etc., etc. You guys make up your own spiel, right? Smash the like button, ring the bell, subscribe, like, comment, send me a letter. Send me a letter. I'm tired of checking my post box and not having anything in there. Carol BDW, hey, how's it going, Carol? Aaron Chodron says, how much money you spent for marketing? Any low budget plan? You should start, if you just start marketing, if you start doing ads, you should start really low, like at $5 a day or something like that. The thing about if you use AdMob, or even I think Facebook does this too, where you'll put like $5 a day ad budget. Don't be surprised if it's $15, right? Because what it'll do is it'll take that over the course of a month and average it out, which to me just sounds dumb because what if I'm not going to run ads for a month, right? But yeah, definitely go with that lower margin because you will need to test to see if your ad works, right? You need to check the click-through rate. You don't want to just say I created an ad, sent $100 through it, and then nobody downloaded. No, you want to go like small. The same as if you were gonna fix a leaky pipe. You would like turn it on just a little bit and test to see if it's still dripping, and then you'll turn it up all the way, right? Let's see. Borma Apps has just smashed that like button. Hey, Brahma Apps. Hey, how's it going? Black screen. Oh yeah, Eric. This is where you guys are all telling me off about my black screen. I'm way behind on the questions. Sorry. If you guys want to follow on where I'm reading, I am currently at CoderPython's thing. So I'm having some keyword trouble in my app name. Is freelance Upwork fee calculator, but I can find it nowhere on the search results for the keyword reference, which is my main keyword. So let's have a look on Play Store. So let's have a look at this. So CoderPython, we're talking about freelance Upwork fee calculator. Can you use the word Upwork in there? Because that's like a name. All right, we're going to screen. Can I see my screen? Yeah, you can. Let's have a look. This is CoderPython's Upwork fee calculator. Obsolete. Why would they have obsolete Upwork on here? Why wouldn't you just unpublish it? Okay, freelance Upwork fee calculator. So this is this you, CoderPython? Let's see, Upwork. So we're going to do fee calculator. Let's do Upwork. Actually, let's go back. What I want to do is I want to have a look at the keywords that you're tracking for on App Annie. Sorry, it's coffee. every time I do the live stream, I make coffee beforehand, thinking that way I can sip coffee while I'm drinking, like a talk show kind of thing. It'd be kind of cool, just right. But I don't realize that I have to spend the whole time talking. Even though to me it feels like we're having a conversation, if I stop talking, it's awkward. Let's see. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So Coder Python. This is you, right? Let me just see. Cool. So we go to the ASO section. I'm going to look at the USA because that's mainly, for me, USA is always the biggest market, but it defaults to the United Kingdom. No! The keywords ASO report will be deprecated in the coming weeks. Keyword ASO report is replaced with the new ASO keywords report. Oh, we're not going to try that just now. We'll do it later. Try it later, by myself. So we're not ranking for anything. Let's do Upwork fee calculator, freelancer. Let's see if you're ranking for any of these, because it is kind of strange, Coder Python, that you're not ranking at all. Just wait for these to load. So while we wait for these to load, these results, the keyword rank results, Supreme Cat Support says, I'm not able to create the Apple developer account because I'm not able to do two-factor authentication. What should I do? Please help. I'm not sure about that. I have a client that has the same issue. He's not able to do two-factor authentication because he doesn't have an Apple device. And it's almost like as if they assume that if you're releasing to the App Store, you have an Apple device to do the development, but like my client doesn't have one. He's like, he's set up his account so he could grant me access to it. So, and I had one client this week or last week, she had the same issue. She was trying to do it here we go. So you're ranking, sorry, we'll go back to Coder Python. So you're ranking 227 out of 250 for Upwork. You're not ranking at all for fee. You're not ranking at all for a calculator or fee calculator. And then freelancer calculator. You're not ranking at all either. So yeah, you might want to look for some new keywords there because they might just be oversaturated. So like if I were going to do this, I would think I would go to thesaurus.com. And I know this is not the best. I mean, calculate. Calculator I think is a good one because that's exactly what it does. But I say fee. If I do search on fee, we could do account, bill, commission, payment, compensation, cost, expense, pay, payment, reward, share, stipend, wage. Wage is something you try. Try to if you can't rank for that one, go for like wage or something like that, and just try some different stuff. I don't know if that's helpful or not. Which might. All right, so one of the downsides of sharing my screen and going to like a random page like that is it shows ads based on what I've been looking at, and obviously I'm looking at sports supplements, like bulkpowders.com, and like, oh. See, James says, do you think you could lose trust by using a PWA that don't go through an app store? I don't know, James. I don't think so. But to me, the PWA thing, and I know this from experience, trying to convince a client to do it, because I have tried to convince a client to do it before, saying, or we could do a progressive web app. And they said, we don't want a web thing, we want an app. But I said, yeah, no, but this is a progressive, this is like, it's an app, but it's not on the App Store. And they're like, they think it's not as good, right? So it's been, there still is a magic, a perceived magic about apps where people want it. And although as technical people, that, it's you can do a lot of the same things, but you could get a situation like I had this before, where we have like a business application, and they say, could we put a game in it? Like we want to have a little game as part of it. Like so, it's just like, and all of a sudden you got, okay, we're using Ionic here. Like we're using Ionic, or we're using whatever. We're even using native. Right? How are we gonna put a game in there? If we're using native, I suppose we could. We could like, but not using Unity. Maybe we use Corona cards and include it in there. But sometimes just going down one route, you like. If they ask for features and stuff like that, it kind of closes them off. But that's the same with every framework. Simon Suppertime. Hey, how's it going, Steven? Says, Eric, when you got started as an entrepreneur in this space, what skill or human resource did you not have that looking back you really wish you had, even if you didn't know it at the time? I think the biggest one was just being, for me, the biggest thing I had was just not wanting to talk about myself. Like, and I don't like the term entrepreneur because it seems to be overused, and it just seems to be so overused. But I guess if we're selling our services, we're selling our apps, we're doing that kind of stuff, then yeah. But when I think of an entrepreneur, I think of somebody who's confident and sure of himself. And a lot of times, I still have the point where I'm thinking, is this the best way forward? This is the way we should be doing, or how should we do this? And I think for me, the one thing that I really wish, the skill that I really wish that I had, was just the ability to stick with my decision and not second guess it. I think because ultimately that never helps. And I know for a fact, like you go into a client and then you're like, they're talking about what they want, and you know how to deliver it, but then you're thinking, oh, we could do this. Or we could do this, or I don't know if that would work. Like you're thinking in front of them, and that's never a good thing. So a lot of the stuff that I do now is, you when you go meet with a client, you got to put your game face on, right? You got to, it's your job to always be looking for the best solution for them. But another part of your job is you don't want them thinking that you don't know what you're doing, right? Because you always do, but you're just thinking, right? Like you're gonna find the best solution, but you don't want to look like you don't want them to be involved in the thought process, if that makes any sense. Kind of the same with your kids, right? When your kids, when they see uncertainty in you, it makes them a little bit scared, right? So like you're just gonna be like, no, like they say, what is it? You think, do you think this is a bad neighborhood? Anybody's gonna mug us? You're like, no, everything's gonna be fine. This is a fine neighborhood. Don't worry about it. And then you're thinking, you're still looking around, right? That's kind of what's like. You got to be the one who takes charge of that. I think that's probably one of the things. And I think it's, for me, it's just, I think like I talked about it before, just the self-confidence of it all. When you look at some other businesses out there, I think we have a lot of. I have a lot of distrust for people when they try to sell me something, so then I try not to sell all the time, and I think I'm finally starting to get over that. Where, okay, here's what it is, and okay, I got it right. Talk about thinking through something. Here we go, Stephen. Sorry, Simon. Supper time. I think it would be when I talk to a prospective client before, it was coming from a position of lack, like, I hope you give me this job. I hope you hire us to do this. I hope. But now I could go in and it's much more like a different mentality where I'm thinking, we can help you. Like I could help you do this, and I would hate if you were to not work with us and you went with somebody who took advantage of you, right? Because it's true. Right? There's nothing false about that. It is true. Like I've had so many clients come to me over the years that say, we were working with these developers and they're just, we can't stand them. Can we move our project over to you? And sometimes the answer is let's have a look at it. And sometimes it's like, nah, I don't know. So it depends on the state of the code and everything like that. And but because I know that there's a lot of bad developers out there, I know that when we're talking to a client that they would be better going with us. That would be like, I'm not saying please give me the job. I'm thinking more like, I want to help you. I want this to be the best thing for you, and it's genuinely true if we can do it for them. So I think that's a bit wishy-washy. I know you. So you just had your first session entrepreneurship program this week, and everyone in my group are rock stars. So I want to be the best I can for me, for them, and for me. Yeah, I think it would probably be just the giving. Like when I go, you know what, Simon? When I meet with a client, I get the most relaxed when I decide I don't want to work with them. Like it's almost like, you know, or like it comes out and says, well, we're still thinking about it. Oh, cool. Then I could talk freely. Like, I'm not worried about saying the wrong thing. I can say, oh, you should do this or you should do that, right? And then usually you get the job, because it's like the pretense of like I'm trying to sell them something is gone. I'm not worried about saying the wrong thing, right? And now I'm at the point where I'm happy to recommend that they don't do an app, right? Or they go with somebody else, or like, but I don't know if you're doing an entrepreneurship program. I've never done that, so I don't know if you know more than I do on that matter. ASMR Kate says, how the Google Play ranking algorithm works. Is it by having more app installs and positive reviews that you can easily rank? Thanks for your answer. There's lots of things. So you have to think about how the algorithm works in terms of what would be the most beneficial. So if you go through and type, if you go into the Play Store or the App Store and type in weightlifting app, they're not want to give you the one that's the closest to the search term. They're going to give you the one that they think is the most relevant to you. The same with any web page, the same with any video. They're going to want to make that and give you the best one for them. Otherwise, you're not going to use their engine anymore. So they'll base that first and foremost on the title. The title, the keyword, but then also, which would be very important, was like how many, the ratings, reviews, the retention rate, how long are people actually downloading it and keeping it, the rankings, the ratings, the number of backlinks going to that. So how many blogs are talking about that application, and the description. So like, all things being equal, like if we were all starting today, the keywords would be the most important thing, and they still are, because that's what tells the engine about what you have and what you're looking for. But still, Google Play is going to want to give them the best thing for them, and that's where it gets tricky. That's where it gets tricky all these years, 10 years into the app markets, that you have to, if you're competing with some of the big guys, you have an uphill battle. So you're going to have to make sure, show some sort of social proof that your application is actually better than theirs, and get some people in there leaving reviews and everything like that. So there's lots of things to think about, but what you could do though is make sure that you have really good keywords, that your description, your title is something that people will be searching on. Let's take an example of, all right, let's go to the Play Store right now. And I'm going to, am I frozen? I'm not frozen, am I? I guess you hear me. So if I go to the Play Store and I'm going to type in learn Chinese, because this is one that I was targeting for ages. So you see learn Chinese there in the title, that comes up, and learn Chinese, but it's also the number of things. Let's do learn Spanish. There we go. This is the example I was looking for. So learn Spanish, we got learn Spanish. Number 2 is the actual in the title, and then we got Duolingo, which has millions of downloads. It's got Spanish in it, but so it's there, learn Spanish, English, whatever, but it outdoes everybody because it has 8 million reviews, 4.7 ranking, altogether over 100 million downloads. Right, they are on the top of the hill, and if you were going to knock them off the top of the hill, it'd be very, very difficult. However, going in and typing in learn Spanish, the closest you could get was having learned Spanish, and of course everybody does that. They have learned Spanish in their title going forward. But Duolingo is the king of them all because it has the rankings, it has a backlink, it has all the positive reviews, it has the retention rate, it's got everything. If that makes sense. And if you guys want to say Eric doesn't know what he's talking about, go ahead. Like that. So, but yeah, you have to think about that kind of thing. So getting in there. Now, what you could do, so that's going based on search. And we talk about App Store optimization. A lot of times we're talking about based on search. But you could bypass that whole search thing if you could do the is interruption marketing, or getting in front of the right people in different ways. So if I'm going in and I type in learn Spanish, I'm already thinking I'm the perfect customer for your app. If you have a Spanish learning app, right? I'm the perfect customer because I went in and typed learn Spanish. However, your product is way on the back shelf, right? You're like, I'm never gonna find it. So if that's the case, you need to put an interruption ad out there. You need to maybe do like a Facebook ad to target the people you think would want it. So rather than search advertising, permission advertising, or search advertising, you would use interruption. So you put it in front of the people you want to do. So I bought some fake AirPods a few months ago from an Instagram ad, right? I didn't think I was interested, right? If I did a search on it, they probably would have gone. They probably wouldn't have been the company I went with, because I'm sure there were loads of others. But I was their ideal client, and they interrupted me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought of this?" No, I haven't, and that's how they made that purchase with me. So that's something to think about too. But then that means you're spending money, or you're trying to go out there and get on groups or reach out in other ways. It doesn't have to be advertisements. It could be, it'd be advertised like flyers or something like that. Fiction Studios, hey Fiction Studios, says, have you ever had a situation where you spent a very long time for clearing small bugs? Yes, and that's the worst. Like, you're sitting here, like, those are the times where as a grown man you're like almost on the verge of tears. You're like, this should be working. I can't figure this out. Like, and most of the time, it's not so much in the code. Like, it's something to do, like, okay, here's something that just this week. Lately, it seems like everything I signed for iOS is crashing in debug mode on my phone, right? You just load it up. It's certificate's good, installed good, everything. You open it up, it just crashes immediately, right? Infuriating. By the way, Apple, being the developer lovers that they are, don't tell you anything, right? Just crash. Check the logs, right? You check the logs, they don't tell you anything either, right? Or there'd be something, some little clue in a vast sea of data, right? And then you have to go through and go find what's wrong, right? And it's infuriating. So then you ended up doing you just end up like, I'll just change this and see if it does anything. I'll change this to see if it does anything. Change it, and then you get a theory, and then you go off and think, I'm going to rewrite this whole section, right? And then you find out it has nothing to do with that. And then at the end of a day or 2 days, you find out some stupid random semicolon or something just stupid. Or if you've ever done this, okay, this is just really bad. Like, when you go through and you just copy a project over, you think, I'll just be safe, right? And what you should do is check it into Git or Subversion, whatever you're using, your source code repository. But you decide, I'm just going to make a copy of this, and and then it's that way I could just go back to the copy and not have to go through all the Git restore, whatever. And then you end up you end up changing code in the wrong copy and are frustrated to understand, can't figure out why it's not changing on the phone. You're like, what is it? Is it clearing the caches and everything? You're not even on the right project. You're like on the wrong project. That is infuriating. I need to get going. Oh, sorry about this, guys. Dimitar Milken says, I'm making an app right now as a hobby. Cool. And got distracted by YouTube. Sorry about that, dude. To see that you're on, I'm glad I did so. Thank you for everything you're sharing. Dimitar, get back to work. In fact, we're not going to say anything more until Dimitar gets back to work. Go on. Shut off YouTube. Let's see. John Mollahan says, hey, Eric, please shout out to my 11-year-old twins, Maggie and Lucy. Hello, Maggie and Lucy. How are you? Just smash the like button. Yes, everybody smash the like button. In fact, after you smash the like button, smash it again so it removes the like. Just keep smashing it. Maddie, no, I'm just kidding. Smash the like button. Looks good. I guess it looks good. It's a vanity metric. But yeah, that was nice. It's always nice to get the likes. Maddie JY2K needs less consonants in the end. Says, I watch videos saying that the future most common app features are going to be built into virtual assistants, and integrating your app features into a VA is what's going to make it really important. What do you think? I think strangely enough, are we talking about virtual assistants? Are you talking about like the speakers and everything? I think when you're designing your application, if you could do it in a way that the API is flexible, you use it with other things, then you're much better going forward. I had a meeting with a client just this week where we were talking about that. He said, so it was like it was a company where some of the key people had left and new people came in, and their whole thing was, why are we doing an app at all? Why aren't we using one of these devices, right? And the truth is the API is pretty flexible. Like we could do like a front end to that. Like it should be the bulk of your code on the server if you have an API or whatever. Or even if you're using something like you could share the code between applications like you could on Xamarin, and you have the different front ends, being able to have like another front end in to use by Google Assistant or Amazon Echo by using the just writing different Node.js front ends for it. But don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts. We're on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Oh yeah, LinkedIn. Yeah, follow me on LinkedIn, or let's connect on LinkedIn, right? Even though I was bad mouthing LinkedIn on one of the videos a few weeks ago. Let's see. Fiction Studio says, for $5 a day, how many average downloads can I get for a quiz application? Any approximately? I think what you should do on $5 a day, that's where you track it, right? Because your ad, it depends on the ad. Like if the ad is compelling and people click on it, then it's going to be different than if the ad sucks. Like an ad, like change the language on it, try different things, and you're not so much looking at the number of downloads, you're looking at the conversion rate, right? So if let's say if your conversion rate is you're spending 50 cents per install on it, so for $5 you would have 10 downloads, and that's acceptable to you, like you're making $1 from it, then at that point you can scale that up. And this is one of the things where I talk about if you have a paid version of the app, that would be better for those kind of ads. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh thanks. Oh, Julia's put all our social medias in it. Thanks, Julia. Gavin says, I'm having a potential client wanting me to make a game app for them. I have no idea what to charge. I am confident I could do the app. When I do a bit of Google, it comes up with $20,000. It's difficult to say, Gavin, right? It really is. First of all, a game is different than an app. An app, I could say, okay, I could do some wireframes and pretty much have an idea. I could do some wireframes and some flowcharts. I have a pretty good idea of how the app is going to work, right? There's no set price for an app or a game, right? To me, and I've seen people do this. There's like app calculators out there you can go on. It will tell you what it is, right? They'll say like, is it going to have social media integration? Is it going to have this? Is it going to have that? Is it going to have that? But there's no way to know, right? You have to think about how much time it's going to take you, and then also try to think about the scope creep on it, because a game has to be specified pretty well. Are you doing the design resources, or are they doing the design resources? If you sit down with them, are they being something vague like, hey, I should have a leaderboard and some levels, and it'd be nice if you had like a little like a dragon, and you're flying the dragon through the caves, and they're doing all that, or is it something where they're very specific, like, okay, we want 10 levels, we want a leaderboard, we want to integrate with this and with this system and that system. And your job as a developer is to think, what does that look like? And and when it comes to design, that's where things get really subjective. One of our first client applications was a game, and it was stressful because, and we charged way too low. I think we charged like £3,000 for it. And it took us like way longer than I thought. From a logical point of view, I thought, yeah, it shouldn't take that long. It should be fine, right? And we'd have like conversations like the main character is too cute or not cute enough. The bad guys are too scary, or they're not scary enough. There's not enough peril on level 3. And that's like, so you're dealing with subjective language coming back from the client, and also and you have to put that into a certain way. So your designer has to be on. If you're doing a designer has to be on board with it. And it depends on how well you can specify it out, right? And to make sure you add a bit of buffer in there for scope creep. To me, 20,000. I don't know how anybody could put a fixed price on something like that. This is why, And I've struggled with this. Like, I've had people call up saying, how much does it cost to do an app? It's like, dude, it depends on what you want. Like, we have to think about, I mean, everything, everything has, like, there's features that you put into it. There's different things you have to incorporate in. If you said 20,000 and you think that should be plenty, like, it could be more. It could cost you more. You don't want to be in a situation that costs you more. At the same time, I just be fair to your clients, I think. But also know that scope creep is gonna happen, right? They're gonna see that game and think, we showed this, like, you're gonna be like, everything's fine, everything's done, you're in the final stretches, and they're gonna say, ooh, we've been showing this to some people and we think we need to add something else, So make sure they know that changes are additional. Make sure that you are clear and they are clear what you're delivering before you actually start it. Tim L says, can you rent a virtual Mac for the two-factor authentication? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Good question. I didn't even think about that. Check out Mac and Cloud. Good idea. Supreme Cat Support says, do unpublished apps also get suspended? I think they might, actually. I'm kind of hoping they'll give me some leeway, though. By the way, love the stream. Please do it again. Thank you. Hey, well, we do this every Friday. We do the live stream every Friday at 5 o'clock. We've been doing it for years. We call it Overpass Live, but we should come up with a better name. I think we should call it Eric's Superpower App Hour. Oh, that's good. That just came. Let's see. Let's see. Charlie's Dev Life. By the way, check out Charlie's Dev Life's channel if you want to see more of our office building. He works in the same building here. Charlie's Dev Life says, I'm trying to make 2D web app game. Cool. I've heard you can export HTML from Unity, but do you have any other recommendations for making web app games? Yes, use phaser.io. It takes a little bit of learning, so some of the web. I'm going to have to get going here, though. All right, but you know what? All right. Phaser.io. I told my son to pick him, so I got to pick my son up at 8 o'clock in Portsmouth, but I'm picking him from his door. He could wait, right? He'd be fine. Let's see. So here's one. Phaser.io is one that's very popular at the moment. It's a framework for HTML5 games. The one that I used back in the day, way back in like 2011, I was learning on impact.js, which I thought was really cool. This is kind of where I learned about how game loops work and everything. This is before I learned Corona and everything, and it was nice because it wasn't that expensive. I think it was like $100, but it's old. I don't know how well it's supported. I loaded this thing up into to Cordova or into PhoneGap, and it just ran like a dog, so I never did anything more with it. But it was still kind of cool the way that it worked. I think, what are some other ones? I'm sure there's other ones out there. Let's see. Construct 2. Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Construct 2. That's the one. Yeah, I've never used that one. I think then you got Game Salad, which is like a drag and drop editor, but I think that one's does HTML. Let's see. Patrick Chewett says, what's the best ASO research tool at the moment for you? I'm not using any of the tools at the moment. App Annie is the one I use. There's all these ones out there that are fairly expensive in my opinion. Sensor Tower and Mobile Action. So I guess the big ones. So Sensor Tower, Mobile Action, the tool. God, there's always new ones coming on board. We did have an ASO tool on our website, but it kept crashing. I think they kept changing the API. We use an open source library, which was really cool. But I think every time the Google Play one does, so we ended up removing it. Every time the Google Play Store changes, our tool stopped working. NA says, how much should I spend on advertisement for my first app? Should I even consider it? You should consider it. I mean, at least if you spent $10 over 2 days, just to check, right? Or like do $1 a day, right? But I would say don't do it in India, just because there seems to be so many click farms there, and it's not like I would say try that. So James says you need to get going. Yeah, I do need to get going. So after Maddie's Eric Superpower app comment, that's will be the last one. Sorry guys, I do need to get going. I think we're not gonna have. He texted me earlier saying instead of going to Taco Bell, we're going to Burger King instead. And I thought, actually, that's good too. It's like, dude, as long as it's not fancy, as long as it's like, I just want nasty. I want nasty, greasy, bad for me food on a Friday night, right? Let's see. Or you wrote false. Oh, sorry. How much is? Or you wrote false instead of false. Oh, did I? Let's see. Maybe we need to make an app for that checking semicolon bug or something like that. Oh yeah, you're right. False instead of false. Yes, that's right. When you do the code. Oh God, I've done that before too. Yeah, JavaScript. It will let you. I mean, JavaScript. It's a dynamic language. So, which is cool because you don't have to specify everything in up front, but you don't have types. You don't have type safety. So you could, you have a bug that's in there that just you never even catch. Let's see. Harish says, is subscription a really good business model for indie app app makers or a team of two? Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, definitely. I'm not doing it, but I think you should. Yeah, it's why would you not? Why would you not do the subscription model? Because then you have recurring revenue. Even though like with apps, it seems to be like recurring revenue. Every time I've done a subscription on an app, like when I find out it's coming up, then I'll usually cancel it. Roman Sisk, hey, how's it going? Hey, Roman. Abdul Jabbar, hey, how's it going? Roman says, Roman Sisik, sorry, says, what do you consider to be a good, realistic daily user engagement time for an app in Firebase Analytics? I think, dude, for me, I think 3 days is good. I think, because my user retention has always been so bad. But I still been able to make money with it. So, yeah, I suppose it depends on your app. Like if you had like I would love to have an app where people used it all the time. They checked it every day, and I could serve them ads like for the next 5 years. Yeah, the more users you grow, they like never uninstall it and they check it every day. But it's just never happened for me. Let's see. Morandir says App Me Live. App Me Live. That's a good name. I want to have Overpass in it a bit. Abhay says Overpass Live is a good name. Let's see. Gavin says, thanks for the great help. Yes, I agree with you on the scope creep thing. Scope creep's going to happen, right? You got to make sure they know what scope creep is, right? So, and make sure, like we had to put this on our quotes recently because this gets to be a problem. Make sure you put on your quote document, like specify what you're doing, what you're not doing, but also say, please check to see everything you want is in here, because anything that's not here, even if we discussed it, could be added in there. Because when you have those initial discussions, it's like you're talking about all these different things, right? It's like, we could do this, could we do this, could we do this? Yeah, you could do this, could do this. But when you put the quote together, you want to keep the price as low as possible for them, or they want to keep the price low. So you think, yeah, we discussed that, but like, I'm just do that. So this is my presentation, this is what we're going to build. And then many times in the course of the development, they go, but we talked about doing this, right? And it's like, yeah, we talked about it, but it was never really considered. And you get this thing where they think, depending on how your relationship is with them, you could get in a situation where they think you're trying to get one over on them when you're not. You're like, dude, I know that we discussed that, but it was, wasn't something I actually quoted for. So let's see. Superpower Hour. Eric's Superpower App. Eric's Superpower App Hour. That's great. You really should use that next Friday. Yeah, you know what I think I know. Wear a cape. Halloween this week. My favorite daily overpass was I did one for Halloween, and I never did a Halloween one afterwards. And maybe we should next Friday's gonna be the first. So could I dress up next Friday? Good evening, good channel. Thanks very much, Gregor. Weekly Overpass Live. Thanks, Abdul Jabbar. Harish, everyone smash the like button. Yeah, smash that like button. And Making English Fun says, you had issues with 32. Okay, I'm going to answer this question even though I got to get going. Because Burger King is calling. The king is calling, baby. You had issues with 32 to 64-bit. I'm making 64-bit, but Google Console keeps refusing, saying it's not 64. Using Unity to make. Check with Unity to make sure. For me, it wasn't that I was compiling to 64-bit, but I had an underlying library that was 32-bit, right? And for some reason, the NDK was not it wasn't recompiling that bit, and I was digging into it trying to figure out what it was, and after a while I thought I'll just remove it, and then I had a bunch of users complain because they lost a feature. Maddie says, thanks very much for live chat. Don't drive too fast to get to your son on time. I won't. I'm going all the way into Portsmouth, which means, the nice thing about driving all the way down to the coast, like a nice hour and a half drive, get some coffee, and if I'm gonna get coffee on the way, it's not gonna be just coffee. It's gonna be like whatever, pumpkin spice latte or something that's really bad for me, and I'm gonna listen to an audiobook or a podcast, and I'm gonna drive all the way down there, pick them up, drive back, get some Burger King, drive back, have a chat, some one-on-one time. I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thanks so much for joining us on the live stream today. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll talk again next week, same time, and we have our Overpass Insights video tomorrow is about specifications always change, and thanks very much. Hope you smash the like button, hope you subscribed, hope you followed us on all our social media accounts, and have a good evening, have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys next time.